If any of you went to the Day for Freedom March in London on Sunday, you probably saw the mid-time show by a drag queen performer called Vanity Von Glow. Take a look at this.
Empty spaces, what are we living for? Abandoned places, I guess we know the score. On and on, does anybody know what we are living for? Another hero.
Now, I've seen a lot of uproar about this, and I don't quite understand the uproar. I wasn't at the event myself, but a lot of people that went were complaining that there was a drag act involved. I've seen loads of backlash online from nationalist types who were complaining that it wasn't the right place to do it, and it makes me wonder, if a freedom of speech event is not the right time for a man to come out in a dress and to sing Shania Twain, then what is the right event? Because this was a freedom of speech event. It wasn't specifically a conservative or a nationalist event. I mean, Sargon of Akkad was there. All these different people were there with differing views who were there to promote freedom of speech. And so when I saw Vanity doing that, I thought, fantastic. Now, let me make my views clear on this. I'm not a big fan of drag. Put it this way, you're not going to find me at a drag club, put it that way. But the old school drag queens, I've come to kind of respect a bit, because the old school drag queens, and I'm not talking about the new types, the younger ones, the ones that are indoctrinating 8-year-old kids into setting up their own drag clubs. The old school drag queens had their underground societies, they're freaks, they know they're freaks, and it's a bit of fun. That doesn't bother me. I mean, as long as they're not bringing in children, which the old school ones certainly aren't, I'm fine with that. So hats off to Vanity Von Glow for doing this. But then the obvious happened. I mean, this was always going to happen the minute somebody from the LGBTQWIRT ! Community appears at an event with the likes of Tommy Robinson. So here's an article from Pink News. Drag queen Vanity Von Glow faces anger after appearing at far-right propaganda rally. Now, first off, it's been called far right, far right, far right, this event. For the last week or so, it's far right, far right, far right. When you've got liberals there, Sargon of Akkad, when you've got drag queens there performing Shania Twain songs, and the left are saying, it makes no sense, why would a drag queen appear at a far-right rally? Well, good point, why would a drag queen appear at a far-right rally? Perhaps logic might tell you it wasn't a far-right rally. I mean, there's the obvious conclusion. The article says here, drag artist Vanity Von Glow has responded to criticism after appearing alongside far-right activists at a free speech rally. The London drag act, real name Tom Glow, performed at the Day for Freedom protest on Sunday, May 6, where she was introduced by Tommy Robinson, the former leader of the English Defence League. And it goes on and on and on. But what's interesting about this is the backlash is so horrendous. The backlash is doing nothing but attempting to shut down this guy's career. So let's take a look at these tweets. Vanity Von Glow performed yesterday in an EDL-organised, MAGA-supported, Hopkins-lauded, Milo-praised right-wing rally. Great, a drag queen I actually know performed at a racist far-right rally in central London. Remember that her name is Vanity Von Glow when you tell your local club not to book her. So there has been an online systematic campaign to get Vanity Von Glow banned from venues and to ruin Vanity's career. And it worked. So let's take a look at this. So the campaign to get Vanity Von Glow fired from all the venues that he performs at has worked. Her Upstairs, which I believe is a queer bar, whatever that is, has announced that they've cancelled any bookings. So this is what their statement says from Her Upstairs. At Her Upstairs, we value everyone's right to speak freely. But we do not endorse discrimination of any kind and/or speech and values that threaten the safety and support of any and all members of our community or any community. The Day of Freedom was deemed far-right propaganda masquerading as the promotion of freedom of speech. Yes, it was deemed that. That doesn't mean it is. Primary endorsers and organisers stand for fundamental values that directly contradict what we believe in. Well, I don't know actually, because most of the people on that stage loved the drag queen stuff. I mean, they had Milo, for God's sake. This is not a matter of differing opinions. Instead, many of the groups that were seen to be at the forefront of the event are built on morals and prejudices that we fundamentally disagree with. The event was covered nationally by press, and so to plead ignorance of any of these factors is not plausible. Well, Vanity Von Glow did not plead ignorance. Vanity just knew to rise above it and ignore the claims made by the press because they're always wrong. On Sunday, Vanity Von Glow made the choice to not only attend but to appear on stage at the Day for Freedom, whilst like everyone else she has the right to freedom of speech. Her alignment with such an event calls into question her motives and her ethics as part of the performers whom we work. Now, presumably, her upstairs have known Vanity Von Glow for years and years and worked with her. So they think that the fact that Vanity's stood up and done this event changes her. I mean, her alignment with such an event calls into question her motives. What motives do you think Vanity has? Vanity did not perform as scheduled last night, so they've cancelled her from the venue. We, like everyone else, await Vanity's statement explaining why she was there. As it stands, she will no longer be booked at her upstairs. Well done, you awful people. Well done. I mean, no matter what you think of drag queens, I mean, I've had people last night who were moaning at me for supporting the rights of a drag queen. I don't care what this person does. This person deserves to make a living, especially if they've worked hard at it for years and made a name for themselves. This is what happened to Martina Markota in New York when she was performing as Lady Alchemy, performing at all these big venues. And then when they find out that she's a Trump supporter, they harass her and get her cancelled from all the venues she worked at, harassed her agents so much that she could never be booked, and drove her out the city. This is appalling behaviour. I saw as well that this is the total ignorance of the left. Not only are they driving this poor guy out of his work, Ryan Broderick, who's one of the blue tick people on Twitter, a deputy global news director for BuzzFeed, said a UK drag queen at a protest against globalism is singing Shania Twain's, a Canadian, song because Shania Twain said she would hypothetically have voted for Trump in the US presidential election. I love that he sticks in a Canadian in there, as if somehow being anti-globalism means being anti-Canadian. It's amazing. So anyway, let me just finish this up by saying that Vanity Von Glow has released a statement, and it's a long statement. You can read it yourself on the Vanity Von Glow Facebook. And he says, as many of you know, yesterday I performed at a free speech event on Whitehall. As a conscientious community, many of you have reached out with concerns that I shared a platform with controversial figures Tommy Robinson and Indianapolis. For me, the ability to disagree civilly, to differ well, if you will, is one of the building blocks of every meaningful relationship in my life. That is spot on. Disagree with Vanity Von Glow all you like. Disagree with the fact that Vanity does drag if you want. But the behaviour of people, not just from the left, but also some people from the right, saying that, well, this person deserves to lose their job. And now that this person is losing their job because we're right-wing and we don't like drag, we can't support their rights. No, you can. The whole point of this event, the whole point of this movement is to show that people do deserve the right to say and think what they want, to enjoy this basis of a free civilization which has got us where we are today, and to oppose the authoritarianism and the bullying of the left. And so to Vanity Von Glow, well done. From me, well done, and I'm sorry to see that you're suffering from this. If you want to see more from me and the rest of the Rebel team, remember to download our app on the Apple App Store and the Google Play Store, and like and subscribe.